Not all scientists believe that the variations in measurement of universal constants, such as gravity's strength or the speed of light, are errors in measurement. These assumed constants of the universe may turn out to be variable within certain parameters, when under other effects. It might be that fixed values such as the speed of light are more like the boiling point of water, that some of these fixed points change under pressure. If they do change, it's within limits, and that is just as well for the existence of life on Earth. Is life the point of the universe according to faith? It can be easily spotted that if the Creator's whole aim was life, then the universe is a flop. If the chances of a planet supporting complex life beyond simple replicating proteins are as low as many think them to be, then the universe is almost entirely inhospitable vacuum with a scattering of planets that are mostly too hot, cold, toxic, dry, sterile or violent and changeable. Life can be marvelled at without it being the whole point. In fact, Jewish and Christian scriptures do not claim that life was the purpose of God's creating. Ultimately, we believe that God created out of being who God is, a creation made in an overflowing generosity and creativity. The Bible's language for this is that creation speaks, sings, calls out, or shows us God's glory. Everything exists for its own sake, that is, because God wanted to create it, whilst at the same time everything is created for the sake of the rest of creation, as one part of the whole. Everything can best glorify its creator by being what it was made to be. Nonetheless, among the vast fields of the stars, there does sit a particular garden, a place of life, and God's instruction to life on earth was to be fruitful, that is, to be alive and make more life. God could create all things directly, but just as laws shape the creation of planets, God, being the source of life, made things to be alive that can create more alive beings in partnership with their creator. Life needs some stability, but life also needs change. Too much chaos means death, but too much order means sterility. Without leaving the first page of Genesis at the beginning of the Bible, we see these dual forces of order and chaos in symmetry. The symmetry of order and chaos may even be one of the most significant symmetries of the universe. In the Bible, God's speaking sends out word and spirit, or breath. The word creates and orders, separating light from dark, sky from sea, land from water. The breath, or spirit, or even wind, all three of these words are the ruach in Hebrew, hovers over the deep, the oceans being a sign of chaos, and it is this animating spirit that is breathed into creatures to give them life. The most familiar scientific idea we have of life and change is evolution. Like most human ideas, it is often shared as narrative. Stories shape our understanding. Our social imagination, ethics and sciences can be enriched or impoverished by the stories that we share knowledge through. Evolution is probably the most contentious point in the public imagination between science and faith. And if science and faith really were opposed, then evolution has largely won the debate in the Western world. There are good reasons to tread with care around the narrative of evolution. In the UK, more so than in continental Europe, evolution has continued to be boiled down to the survival of the fittest. Our nature documentaries, which I love to watch, often screen only the most dramatic moments. The mating rut, the chase of the hunter and its quarry, the sting of the parasitic wasp. This has the danger of obscuring the whole picture. The problem here is not science, but narrative. The stories we tell ourselves are important, and the story of the survival of the fittest is one that was taken up by Nietzsche in his Will to Power, which in Thus Spoke Zoroaster saw in all things. This will to power in turn fed into the Nazi ideal of the superhuman, or the Aryan. Now that's not to say that Darwin intended to lead to Nietzsche, nor Nietzsche to Hitler, but it should be a warning to approach narratives that derive from science with care. If evolution is the law governing life, and if evolution is fundamentally nothing but the survival of the fittest, the domination of the environment by creatures most possessed of speed, strength, or reproductive power, then I might have trouble reconciling the Judeo-Christian God with the creator of a world in which to live is to be driven by the need to dominate. However, a close look at any old lamppost will show you that life does not all fit in with this narrative. The simple and overlooked lichen, on which Beatrix Potter was an expert, is a co-op or community of bacteria, algae and fungus. Cooperation can be the result of evolution as much as competition, so competition and domination cannot be the sole drivers of evolution. In fact, every cell with a mitochondria points to cooperation. As the energy factory of your cells, the mitochondria is thought to have started off as an independent bacterium. Both the cell and the mitochondria benefited and thrived together in symbiosis. Symbiosis, working in teams, families and packs, is as important a means of survival as strength. So when simplifying evolution, we do better to understand evolution as the mechanism driving life to adapt to its environment and community, that is, its habitat. Habitats are the touch point of living creatures with the universal tension of order and chaos, which creates the freedom in which change can take place. There are genuine concerns from some eminent scientists that evolution as we understand it does not in fact fill all the gaps that we once hoped it would. The complexity of the eye alone, not only the human eye but every eye of mammals and seeing creatures, is far too complex to have come about unguided, even in twice the suggested time, some experts say, by evolution alone. A kind of rare earth problem for the biology community. For some, the answer here is intelligent design. The danger is the temptation to point to what humanity can't yet explain and say, God did that bit. This is the God of the gaps, an impoverished and watered down creator. And this is not what intelligent design at its best means. The eye does point to intelligent design, but not because we don't understand the mechanism. Rather, it's because the eye's structure is so amazing that the mechanism, which we trust we will one day understand, must itself have been designed. The design of the laws remains true, even if a further jump in our understanding of how life can change and grow illuminates laws beyond evolution. For the Bible, using the vocabulary of law and instruction, it is the processes and the mechanisms themselves that are wisely and intelligently designed. Evolution is not only about the survival of the strongest or the most dominating. If that were the law governing diversity of life on Earth, it would, I think, be irreconcilable to the God of the Bible. But evolution is the mechanism by which life adapts to its habitat. Evolution and life sit within the symmetry of order and chaos, which creates the freedom to change. One of the truly consistent lessons of life is change, growth and ageing, spring and autumn, competition or cooperation to be fruitful and to reproduce. Change is like water. We need it in the right amount, but a flood washes us away. Life is constantly asked by its environment and by its own existence, will you rise to the challenge? Will you sink or swim? These questions are not unfamiliar to the Bible or to an acute observer of life on Earth. We are all challenged to grow. Growth is the road that life travels from inception to death. The freedom for life to take this turn or that, even if unconsciously, needs the instability of chaos. Change may be inspired by plenty or scarcity. It may lead to community or competition. This is not a duality. Neither is the right way or a fundamental way. The key to evolution and to life is the freedom to change, to grow and to make images which are like their parents or their progenitors, but which are also subtly different, a little changed and distinct.